Hello everybody, welcome back to Rosewood Drifts, and this is Thy Lord Root, where we are continuing our expansion. We spent a great deal of time working on this Rosewood Park district, and I think that probably what we'll want to do pretty soon is maybe expand up into this region, up here. There are a number of industries we can take advantage of. We have agriculture, for instance, forestry, which, you can place forestry anywhere, as it turns out. But that would be a good thing to do. So we're going to go ahead and we are going to unlock that tile. And I guess maybe continue upwards. Probably wouldn't be a bad idea. We also happen to need to build a new, I guess, district up here, because pretty soon we're going to run into an issue to where these guys just simply won't be able to supply enough in terms of, I guess, workers. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to build a bridge. We need to build it in such a way that we actually span over these train tracks here. Now, we could have potentially used this down here, but I want that to actually end up being, I suppose, high value land where we could have houses and the like. We also probably need to consider some other things here. Right now, we're using this sort of thing. We want to sort of get away from either polluting the river. We actually have a plan that will come up at some point. The Venerable Poop Lake probably won't happen today because that's going to take a lot of effort. But we have plenty of land up here that we can take advantage of. And I'd like to do that. So we're just going to, I guess, continue to bridge over this area. We don't have to get all of the farmlands, but it would be nice to get some. And actually, even better, I think it would be good for us to maybe consider the fact that we're going to want to put a highway up here, and we've run out of money. And big surprise there. Bridges are definitely part of the reason for that. But we'll have another arterial here. And it's actually good that we're so close to the train, because eventually, not now, but eventually we're going to want to be able to unlock trains. We're making plenty of money still. And how close were we? We got about 1,000 more visitors before this levels up and we get gazebos. What I may do is I may, let's see, when do we get high density? High density is not quite yet, maybe the next. But what else do we get? We get large buildings, the disaster detection stuff, which we're going to have to work on. And speaking of which, I suspect we'll probably have to put up with tsunamis. That seems very likely to me. We got a little bit of work here to do. What do we happen to have? We're still pretty good on... Or are we good on power? We may not be as good as I am thinking. So we're going to have to be careful here. One of the things we could maybe do to help with this, because, you know, this isn't an arterial, it's a collector. We could satisfy some of our commercial demand this way. That'll also block out some of the noise. You know, generally speaking, that will probably work out just fine. I mean, we got pretty good transportation. They can come down here and do their thing. Our buses aren't picking up that many workers, to be honest. Which is a wee bit of a shame, but what can you do? Let's at least consider the possibility that we want that if we handle this, because let's see, I'm gonna have to be pretty careful. Are we not using gravel roads? We sure are. We'll just come out here so that we have a node. What exactly is going on here? This is... How far away? Alright. That is what we need. And I think we're lined up. I probably should have installed planning roads, which I think I mentioned a little while back. But there's very little we can do about that. We're just going to put our highway in and sort of hope that we can terminate it later on. However, we can do one thing which I've really been needing to do, which is to do the lane math on this. And we want to, I guess, take the effort of doing this. Let's see, is that's not quite it. We need to do one more, like that. And that will line up. So main reason behind that is that this guy is eventually going to be a northerly connection. I think if we just have a high level view of our map, we could actually afford another. Where do I want to expand into? That's the question. What might make the most sense is, let's see, do we have any, we have ore down there. this could be handy too. There is oil, although we can definitely not handle oil. Over here though we have a connection. We have a connection over here too. Or we could go across the river, which is what we might do. There is plenty of land for us to exploit. We're not going to do that now though. We haven't even barely done the one thing, so so far very good. And now all we have to do is get our newly completed Parklife here, and we nearly got that. And that is practically perfect. You know, yeah, I think that that would actually be quite good. We can get that Parklife set up like that. And then, I guess eventually what we might end up doing is once we get trains, we'll fiddle with that. I just wanted to get the infrastructure in. Just because, I mean, you could always use eminent domain, and right now this is sort of a highway to nowhere. But, and yeah, it's warning us about our demands here. And you can see we're already sort of running into worker shortages. So what we might do, we might just make a rural area. I think that, at least for now, because farming is going to be pretty much the thing we're going to do here. Now if we go take a look at our water and things like that, it is going to be a minor bit of an inconvenience for us. If we, in fact, we'll take a look at our resources. If we want to capture the entire area, which I believe we do, and I think the best way to do that is to maybe start up here, and then these guys will be in the farming area. Now, I suppose one of the more unfortunate things about this is that I mentioned we needed uneducated workers. So these guys just aren't going to receive an education. Or at least not a very good one. What we could do, however, is we can, I guess, wait for our money to come back up. And then we can start supplying workers over here. It's not a very big thing. We may eventually, I just want to kind of push this over the threshold into big town territory. Although we are nowhere near that threshold, but we do have options. So for instance, we could set up a little fishing industry at some point, which probably isn't a bad idea. And why don't we just go ahead and get that industry area painted, because the thing's going to be that we are going to need to be able to get some form of income going. High zone. I guess we know what they'll be growing. But yeah, we're going to get them set up so that they can do their thing. And until we can build a bypass, see, when do we unlock these? We might just sort of do another one of these. We're going to need, because the garbage processing isn't nearly good enough. So as much as it pains me, I will put another landfill in, but we're going to try and not use it all that much. And I guess, you know, we take a look at our power availability. This is the question. What exactly, as we don't want to focus too much on those windmills. They will be helpful. But we do kind of want to get the our power sources here settled. I'm just going to, in order to do that, I'm going to, I guess, begin by doing this. So what will these guys need? Elementary school education is actually still probably a really good idea. Despite it maybe not seeming like it. Because we're just not going to give them a high school level education. Butler Heights. Let's see, they're going to need, you know, schools and all that. Give them some commercial here. And in particular in Butler Heights, we're going to have a policy, schools out. Which means that they'll be fine. We'll have to find other ways to make this attractive. And we've got an abandoned building, which is not terribly surprising given the worker shortage. If we go take a look over here, we're pretty close. We just really need a way to get you know, get everybody doing their thing here. We could sort of utilize public transit to get across here, but I am not going to take that approach. Instead, what we're going to do is we're going to use this road here and sort of abruptly terminate, because one of the reasons you don't use these is because of how noisy they are, or you don't use them within the city limits, rather. Because, yeah, we might have to actually do something kind of special there, to be honest. Okay, that is, I guess, 8. We'll do like that. We'll come across here and we will meet up. And getting this farming district is going to be pretty important. So the question is, can we get onto the highway, or should we even attempt to? Well, I think, at least for now, it would make sense to create an on-ramp over here, so that trucks that are leaving could come around and do their thing. And what we'll do is we'll utilize dirt roads. I mean, it is a farm after all. And really, the more demand we can create here, the better. So I'm going to buffer these guys out. And we're going to go to our industries. We'll plop down a new farming industry here. And the good thing about this I mean, I guess we should have done that the other way, but whatever. Good thing about this is that, yes, it does require a lot of water. We can put in a water tank to sort of help with that. But when we put down jobs, it's high farmland. What we can now do is we can go to our industry here. Greenhouses probably honestly make the most amount of sense in this particular scenario. And we'll put down a few. And that'll create some jobs. In order to maximize profit, though, and this part's kind of important, we actually need something that'll use this. So we have, I think, animal pastures. Oh, not enough money. We have animal pastures that we can do. We can already support most of the workers here. So, you know, that's a good thing. As much as I don't want to redevelop that, I mean, we may have no choice, really. We have some essentials that we're going to have to put in. Oh, and speaking of which, we are going to have to deal with emergencies pretty soon. Which again, I don't know which is going to be which. How many workers do we have working the land? Probably not many. Yeah, we're pulling in a negative product, or negative profit. That's just because, you know, they're all starved. And, you know, they'll come through, they will deliver, and then eventually when we get the train tracks in, that'll be fine. Mostly out of workers though, so I'm going to put in an expansion into this area. But the idea sort of being that this is where we can send most of our workers. I guess who need to get around. We can probably connect everything via bus service too. So you can see we are beginning to pull in a profit. And this will absolutely explode. And where's it gonna strike? You know, that actually wasn't that bad. By the way, if you right click, oh, but this is bad though. I should have paid for fire. We are probably going to get ourselves one hell of a forest fire, and I don't actually think we can really do anything about it. Well, we're just gonna have to let it deal with itself. Although with that having been said, we can maybe put in a little bit of a fire break to prevent it from spreading. All in all, not like a huge problem. Yeah, okay, I think that's probably going to be fine. And just wait for it to burn out. And before anything disastrous happens, get some services in. Strange that they're still covered. I mean, all things considered, you wouldn't think so. But they are. And you can see we are beginning to get a ton of traffic coming in. And right now we're actually handling it okay. But we could be handling it better. And what I'm actually going to do here I'm gonna do this. Yeah, like that. We're off by 1. But yeah, the plan is that we're going to develop this out. So I guess, do a time lapse, and then we'll see you if something interesting happens in between. Oh, look at that. We did, in fact, level up our park. So we'll address that here in a bit, I believe. I just want to add some stuff to the farm. I help keep these roads cleared. And the number of workers that we'll have will probably go up. This will switch to high density. But so far, we're pretty good. Whilst we're waiting, I think it would be an excellent idea for us to take this. We're making a lot of money now. We're making about $5,000. And we've hit Busy Town. Yeah, these gazebos are a bit OP because if you take a look at them, they're $1,000. They're $8, but or $8 upkeep, but 60 entertainment. Which will make them highly effective. And oh dear, we accidentally severed the line there. Yeah, we'll do like that. Yeah, we'll just shove a bunch of gazebos into the corner. And we've already leveled up our farmland as well. We'll probably want to come over here. Let's see, how many do we need, or how much do we need? We shouldn't need much. I think one more gazebo will probably do it. If I'm completely honest. Yep. Yeah, we've reached the limit, and we're about to break even. Although with that having been said, that is also not reachable. I'm gonna maybe stick this down here instead. Or maybe not. I think if we just very slightly move this, we will have what we're looking for, though. And then what we may be able to do from there. I don't know, we'll have to see. I might eventually repurpose some of that. Doesn't matter though, we are about to get where we're at, and these guys are full. And if we take a look now, we are pulling in a lot of profit. Which means expansion is going to be a thing. Now we have to begin worrying about water availability. And so the question is, how much do we pull in from that? Well, we can get 2 and 2 here. These don't really produce pollution, so I don't mind doing that. However, this will begin to slowly pollute the ground, so we do need to be careful with it. Still, if we take a look at this, how many workers do we need? 350. So we need to create the conditions that will allow that to level up. And in order to do that, that's actually not going to be too terribly hard. We just have to begin throwing in, well, for instance, if you think about how much we have, we need a flour mill. That'll be fine. And I think somewhere around here, we have a thing we can put down. Not a barn. or one of these guys that will improve the efficiency. Which will be good, because we want a pretty decent efficiency here. I'm also going to build out like that. And really on this farmland, we need, believe it or not, farms. Oh, and I completely forgot about this. We don't necessarily need these right now. It will cause the power to spike. So I don't know, let's take inventory of what we got here. This produces 120 megawatts. I'm gonna upgrade. And maybe somewhere around here. This is also part of the issue, is that this is going to be very expensive to implement. But if we go down here, that could actually probably move. If I'm completely honest with you, we still have plenty of demand for housing. And you know what I might do? I might even extend the slums out just a little bit. So they're not going to get a park just quite yet. But yeah, we'll do the heating at some other point, I think. And meanwhile, we'll have plenty of spots which can, you know, take advantage of these slums here. I do kind of want to keep these on parity. So that'll work. Alright, so we've done a great deal with this. We should be having most of our workers come in, but we're going to need more. Just add a few jobs in. And then up here, we will, I guess, do some other things. Really anything to keep the jobs flowing. We will probably get a massive death wave if I continue to build like this, but we'll deal with it. We'll throw caution to the wind. I'll just move this over here. Because honestly, I don't see us getting more. If we go take a look at our stats now, we're very slowly growing. Maybe get some of the production going as well. Okay, so far we're doing okay, but the question now is, do we want to expand more? Also, do we want to fill that hole? I think we definitely want to fill that hole. There, you can barely tell that anything happened. I do know that there are some things we forgot. So for instance, if we go here, I think we did incidentally get the traffic lights off, which is good. How about down here? The traffic lights are off there as well, so far we're pretty good. I could just do a little bit more development while my money is running, so I think I'm going to do that, and I will see you in a little bit. Disaster strikes again. Thankfully in the middle of nowhere, which does sort of remind me one of the last things we need to do, because I just realized we are probably getting up on the length that we need the video or want the video to be. I need to put in disaster response unit, which we have money for. And I'll be honest, I do want that kinda nearby the road here. So I'm gonna do that real quick. wherever it is. I think it's here. You'll notice that we are beginning to level up a lot less quickly. Which, you know, you'd pretty much expect. We'll just maybe try to get this partitioned out. Eventually, we're going to want a bridge over that. Not right now. But that'll be helpful at least for this. Okay. Well, I reckon this is probably pretty good, to be honest, for this episode. So, we're going to leave it here, but until then, this has been Root, and I shall see you next time.